Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the second qualifying session of the weekend for round 8 of the 2019 Euroformula Open Championship here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. Air temperature 20 degrees, track temperature 22 degrees, and humidity 84%. I think you can agree, compared to yesterday's rather changeable but very mixed and treacherous weather conditions, it is much better here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. Sunny skies, warm weather, high temperatures in the mid-20s. It is a glorious day for motorsport once again. The cars head out onto the circuit for qualifying. Scott Woodward and Elliot Wood here trackside to talk you through the qualifying session. And the thing most important is this man right here heads into the second qualifying session as your brand new Euroformula Open champion. Yesterday, 10th position was enough for Marino Sato to capture the title in a championship which he dominated so much. And Elliot, I think it's fair to say now he's got 3 races to pretty much just enjoy himself, relax, and to try and prove the point of exactly why he's the 2019 champion.
Yep, he can take more risks now the title isn't on the line, and that's something he's been a very risk-averse person this year. He can certainly enjoy himself more on track. I think qualifying is one of his favourite things to kind of pull out the bag and set perfectly. He said his highlight of the year so far was at Spa-Francorchamps, which is a different circuit to Barcelona, although we did have a microclimate here yesterday as well. And it was kind of just nailing that one lap with the car on the very, very edge. So I imagine he'll be pursuing that kind of performance again today.
Well, these guys will be able to show their true pace, of course, with it being completely dry conditions. When yesterday it was very mixed. Of course, didn't even get out for qualifying yesterday because they had to set the grid based on the free practice time when it was very similar conditions to what it is today. Yesterday, unfortunately, due to the inclement weather in terms of how intermittent sort of thunderstorms that we had and heavy rain, it was so much so that in between, I think it was the GT Cup and the International GT Open sessions, the rain came down so much that unfortunately we had to abandon the qualifying session and set the grid by Article 31.1. Thankfully today that's not going to be an issue unless for some reason we get a massive downpour, which I can't see is going to happen anytime soon this morning. So it's a 25-minute session. And quite simply, fastest time gets pole position, of course. And so these guys are going to be pushing as hard as they can. Just behind him there is another Japanese talent, Yuki Tsunoda. Japanese, of course, young Honda junior driver as he comes through, but Marino Sato then winds up for his first flying lap of this morning's qualifying session. Yesterday's winner, of course, was Liam Lawson after he put off a brilliant last lap pass in the wet on Nikolai Kiergaard. So Kiergaard picked up second place and Linus Lundqvist was third. And so we'll have to just wait and see how well they can perform. But of course, Nikolai Kiergaard was quick in the course of the practice sessions, and he picked up second quickest there, which put himself on the front row for the first race. But also one driver to watch out for is the guy who did get quickest in the dry on Friday, who took pole position as a result of that, and that's Billy Munger. So he struggled a tiny bit, but he picked himself up, I think it was 5th place in the end. So he's going to try and hopefully look for a good time, because if he was, that the form book would suggest that whoever was quick on Friday in these conditions in the dry potentially could see more of the same. And Sato struggled in the dry conditions. He was only about 12th quickest or so. So well, it's a circuit he's not too familiar with in many cases, from what I understand. But maybe he could possibly, now he's a bit more familiar, and the setup work they might have done over the night might possibly help him.
Yeah, and although these Michelin tyres that Euroformula uses do have kind of a really good operating window and give a lot of feedback to the cars, they're also temperature dependent. And in the first practice session on Friday was set kind of this time in the morning, and the second one was in the afternoon. So if we look at the morning times, Billy Munger was fastest, so he's definitely one to watch. And Sato, I don't think actually improved that much going into second session. But Motor Park are aware that this is actually setting the grid, whereas free practice, they didn't know free practice was going to give them their starting position. So this time they'll be pushing a lot harder to kind of optimise their one-lap pace.
Marino Sato's first flying lap has seemed to be a 1 minute. It's not registered just yet, I don't think, but it was about a 1 minute 41 at the end of that lap. So as we've seen here, Nicholas Crutton, who is making his second appearance this season in Euroformula Open, once again stepping in for Julian Hanses, and his time has already put him at the moment provisionally fastest, and he's already up 7/10 on his personal best. So Nicholas certainly getting to grips with the Barcelona circuit pretty quickly. Caelan Williams, the Australian, has gone second quickest on his first flying lap, but he's 2.5 seconds off Crutton's pace. Rui Andrade third fastest now. Cameron Das fourth. Marino Sato's time has now come in, though it's registered as a 152.2, and I'm sure it came up as more of a 141 on the screen when he came past. And Ida Cohen, who we didn't talk about too much yesterday, but of course, new boy with Carlin this weekend, young Israeli driver, pretty talented. I know you've done a bit of an article on your Formula Scout website as well about him. So just fill us in for those who aren't aware of Ida, what kind of a talent he is, what he's done, and what can we expect so far and the pace he's set this weekend?
Well, I think the biggest endorsement of his skills, which is something I haven't actually written for the site yet, is that Ido Cohen's been asked by the Israeli Motorsport Federation to represent them in the FIA World Motorsport Games in November. So he'll be driving in the Formula 4 segment, which is a brand new car of a Halo, kind of hybrid technology. So a big kind of technical challenge for a driver like Ido. He races an ADAC and Italian F4 usually. So after this weekend, he's returning to F4. He's doing, I think, one German round, one Italian round, then he's back here for Monza. Then he's doing 2 more of them. Then he's doing the Motorsport Games, and he's doing something else as well. So he's like got 7 weekends in a row where he's racing, which is absolutely manic. But I think it's a very good pick by Carlin to add him to their lineup. And he showed in free practice that he adapted the car very quickly. And in the race yesterday, where we did see drivers like his teammate Billy Munger lose pace throughout the race, although Ido Cohen couldn't match that ultimate pace, he was very consistent throughout, which is very good. And we've just seen Marino Sato showing what he's been showing all season long, a 1:38.077 second lap to go provisionally on pole position.
And for a moment, it was his fellow Japanese young sort of racing star, Yuki Tsunoda, who was second quickest, but they've been split by Jack Doohan. He had a bit of a struggling race yesterday. At one point, he sort of understeered wide at turn 5, went off into the gravel and found himself towards the back of the field. Tepe Nattori had a decent race at one point. He was battling in the lower top 10 positions. He also had a trip into the gravel, but picked his way through. Good lap so far for Tepe Nattori, across the line. Lost quite a bit of time in the final sector, which is quite interesting, but he was pretty quick in sectors 1 and 2. But for some reason, whatever mistake he made in the final sector lost him a bunch of time, which puts him, at the moment, back down in 12th fastest.
And pre-season, Tepe Nattori was actually kind of the Japanese kid we all thought was going to do really well this year, because at this circuit, he was incredibly quick on his first time in Europe, because he did Japanese F4 last year. And Marino Sato's improving at the front. We've got Billy Munger, who's just set the fastest first sector of the session, at 28.57, so that's almost a 10th faster than anyone else. He's currently down in 14th place. Just ahead of Lucas Dunner, who conceded the title to Marino Sato yesterday, but can still second place in the standings, and obviously would want to take his first win later today.
Yeah, I'm glad you spotted that there, man, because I spotted his purple time at the bottom of the screen, so he's flying along. And as you said, he was quickest in practice. And of course, we were talking about the fact that teams like Carl and Double R did do testing here, obviously previously prior to the season or before when they came to Barcelona. So Motorpark wasn't one of the ones that did that, and therefore they were having to kind of learn on the fly a little bit. Marino Sato lowers the target time to a 1:37.712, first man in the 37s. Then Yuki Tsunoda immediately follows him, 37.9. And also moving up, that was Lundqvist or Williams. It was Caleb Williams, in fact, with the fastest final sector. Then Christian Harnager's third fastest, so it's changing all the time. It's a personal best second sector, Billy Munger. Now he's still up by roughly around about, well, he was, but now he's down by 2/10. Nikolai Kiergaard pops
Billy
up.
Munger had actually set the best middle sector of the session, but Tepe Nattori a few seconds later then beat it with a 36.5. So a lot of these drivers are setting purples and they're instantly kind of being shuffled down. Tepe Nattori has just set the fast lap, a 1:37.07. That's over 3/10 faster than Kiergaard, who's also just crossed the line, and title winner Marino Sato.
Tepe Nattori, as you said, has now gone quickest, 1:37.070. So I think what's nice is that I think all the drivers now they've finally got a proper track, a bone dry track to go out there and do proper qualifying laps. Everyone's kind of been let off the leash in terms of, I guess, the fact that also the championship's also sealed up, but other drivers will be battling for other positions in the championship in terms of points. But at the same time, it's their first proper competitive session that isn't practice, that hasn't been run in wet conditions. So they're already going for it this morning and trying to make the most of all the data they use and all the pace they've got from free practice.
And because we were here for pre-season testing as well, a lot of the drivers here who do have driver coaches, this is a perfect track to measure their progress. So you're going to be looking at braking zones compared to where they were braking previously, how much steering input they're putting in. I think turn 10 hairpin is one of the most obvious ones. It's how late you can brake there and how much time you can gain. And compared to the beginning of the season, that drivers are a lot more tentative to go further into that corner before turning.
It's quite interesting, because as people know, Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya is used as a regular testing facility, not just for single season Formula 1, but for a range of different championships. It's one of those circuits where it does provide a nice range of different corners, but also it provides usually, for the most part, a nice sort of warmer climate also for these guys to work in. It's a good winter testing venue, of course, because the temperatures don't usually fall down too much when it comes to the winter, but it usually during the summer at least, and during the rest of the year, it means you've got a nice sort of venue to work with, and that's why there's so much good business, not just as a race venue, but also as a testing venue at the same time. Now, Tepinatori's done his personal best first sector. He's a little bit off in the second sector, so he's backed off to wind up for another fast lap with 15 minutes to go. But so far, in the first 10 minutes, everyone's pretty much just been absolutely gunning for it and setting personal best sectors and purple sectors everywhere else. Speaking of purple sectors, Nikolai Kiergaard is just at the fastest first sector of anyone so far on this current lap at the moment. So Kiergaard, who started on the front row yesterday and was leader of the race by all but one lap, because of course Liam Lawson pulled off that great outside move into turns 1 and 2 to snatch the lead away in the wet conditions on the final lap. He wants to try and get revenge for yesterday for missing out on the victory.
Yeah, and although the overall title has been sealed and Nikolai Kiergaard has just set the personal best first sector, the rookie title is still up for grabs. So that is between Nikolai Kiergaard, who we're seeing on screen at the moment, Liam Lawson, who won the race yesterday, Linus Lundqvist and his R Racing teammate Jack Doohan, and Yuki Tsunoda. So they could all win the title next weekend in Monza, but this Barcelona race is going to be hugely important in the direction that title goes.
So we'll watch the beta breath. It was effectively 3 rookie drivers on the podium yesterday, because we had Lawson, Kiergaard and Lundqvist. That was crucial for their title aspirations in that category. But of course, again, they're still fighting for overall places in the championship, the highest place of which I believe is Kiergaard out of those 3 people that were on the podium yesterday.
Liam Lawson, actually, I believe. Our timing screens aren't matching with the graphic we're seeing on the pictures on the screen. So Nikolai Kiergaard on our timing screens is 0.33 seconds off, and he didn't set any purple sectors besides his first one, whereas on our TV screen it did show he set a purple second sector. So not quite sure what's happening there.
Yeah, we are getting any issues. Do bear with us on that side of things. We're just working what we've got in terms of what we're seeing on screen. So at the moment, Tepinatori, who's just come into the pit lane, is currently quickest by over 0.3 of a second from this man, Nikolai Kiergaard. Rino Sato, now the new Euroformula Open champion, up into 3rd fastest. 4th quickest for Liam Lawson, 5th for Linus Lundqvist, but 1st, 3rd, 4th and 5th fastest are currently in the pit lane right now. Yuki Tsunoda is 6th, Lucas Dunn is 7th, Billy Munger 8th, then Christian Hahn and Jack Doohan, and then Williams, Crutten, Cohen, Das and Andrade rounds out the 15 cars here this weekend. It's lap time so far. Kiergaard, it's not a personal best first sector. Second sector, as he heads down to the end into the breaker zone for turn 10. It's not bad, but it's not on fastest lap pace. So again, it's not the fastest lap he's done so far in the session. But again, I suspect it's possibly just winding up for another one in a couple of moments' time. And
Nicholas Crutten in 12th place is another of the drivers who's still on track. I believe he might be setting a personal best this time around. He didn't set his personal best in the first sector, but we did see him go past commentary box through sector 2, which only consists of 2 corners, admittedly. But it did look like he was still on a fast lap.
Yeah, his last lap, as you rightly pointed out, was his personal best, 1:38.479. He's only down in 12th position, but he has got some work to do. In come, effectively, almost the whole squad from Carlin, because both Christian Hahn and Nikolai Kiergaard are both in the pit lane. And Nikolai Crutten, just as we were talking about it, good spot here is that he has done his personal best middle sector in this lap so far. So looking to try and get himself into the top 10 if he can play his cards right in the last few corners. And that is kind of level with the pace the top 3 drivers are setting in that very short middle sector of the lap. Here he comes, just seeing out of our commentary box window. We're seeing Tepinatori with a tyre change here. Just whilst that's happening, Crutten goes across the line, does go 10th fastest. So good middle and final sector from the German to put himself up into the top 10 with still 11.5 minutes left to go in the session. Yeah, if you can make up time in the middle sector, which consists of the kind of the uphill left-hander leading onto turn 9. Turn 9's a really fast right-handed sweep, and then I think the timing beam is just before the braking zone for the turn 10 hairpin. So when drivers do make up time through that very short sector, that means they're onto something that no one else has caught onto, because there isn't many places you can really make time there. He's going personal best again in the first sector. We just saw a great shot there of the whole Carlin squadron all lined up, all 5 of them in the pit lane, all being worked on. So effectively, these Carlin boys are working overtime to get the tyres changed on all 5 cars when they're all lined up. So we've only got, at the moment, 3 cars out on track, which is Nicholas Crutten, Cameron Das and Rui Andrade. They're the only ones that are actually lapping at the moment. So that's, of course, Marino Sato. And Das is making another improvement as well. He just set his personal best, but he's also improving again in the first sector. Not the fastest first sector we've seen so far, but this should bring him at least another 2 places up the order, because he's only 0.035 seconds off 5th place, and he's currently in 7th. So Billy Munger there, of course, currently 9th quickest. Of course, he got pole yesterday as a virtue of his fastest times in practice. Struggled a bit in the wet conditions, but he's going to try and see if he can find a bit more time. And usually, sometimes bidding with qualifying sessions, what we've seen is that when it comes to trying to put out a good lap, he's able to find a little bit extra, effectively, when it comes to the last couple of minutes in the session to really pull something out. We know he can go quick in those parts of that qualifying session. We saw it at Silverstone. There was one point in Silverstone where he was on for a really fantastic lap, and then unfortunately had that mistake at Luffield where he backed it into the back wheels into the gravel trap at Luffield, and that caused a red flag in the session. But when it comes to it, but he really can pull something out of the hat when he needs to in terms of pace. So he's still got plenty of time, 9 3/4 minutes to go. He's currently sat in 9th quickest at the moment. So there's still time for him to make up some more time. But again, he'll want to ultimately try and discover the pace he found in free practice to get himself up as the fastest guys out there. Of course, now it's a more competitive session. He's going to try and have to dig deep and find a little bit extra to make that happen.
He's strategically one of the best in qualifying, I would say. Because qualifying did get rained off yesterday, that would usually mean we have more tyre life, to use. But the teams are actually using a lot of the tyres that they've used previously in the season. So the wet tyres that we used yesterday, I believe, were the same ones that used in the Pau Grand Prix for most of the teams. And then a lot of these dry tyres will have also done possibly several hundred kilometres. So although they are putting on some fresh tyres, that does look like a brand new set on Nicolas Crutton's car. Some of the other cars won't be running fresh tyres today, and that may be why they're further up or further down the order than we'd expect them to be.
Quite possibly. That is a good point. And just seeing now Lucas Dunnett, who, as we were talking about earlier on, could definitely secure second place in the title in the championship standings. Of course, maybe a little bit disappointed to miss out on keeping the title fight open for today, but still, second place is nothing to be sniffed at so much, and he'll certainly take pride in the fact he's been able to consistently rack up the points to get there. Currently sat at the moment in 8th fastest. He's got about, he's actually 1,000th of a second ahead of Billy Munger, and about another 3,000ths total ahead of Christian Hahn. So that sort of battle, particularly if we look at it, there's a range of cars pretty much between Linus Lundqvist in 5th quickest and Christian Hahn in 7th. That's separated about half a tenth of a second, which means that sort of midfield is incredibly competitive, and that means that a fraction of a second somewhere, and just a fraction quicker in any sector, could be the difference between starting in the top 5 or starting towards the bottom of the top 10.
0.056 seconds covers that car, which is probably maybe braking 4 meters later at turn 10, maybe. That I expect you can gain that kind of advantage just by turning there. Or maybe earlier in the lap at turn 3 or turn 4 and kind of staying committed to your line in that corner rather than trying to crack the car, because obviously keeping it on the throttle kind of keeps it stuck to the road at the same time. One thing with Lucas Dunnett this weekend is we did expect Aldo Festante to join him at Teo Martin Motorsport again, but he is on his own, and that doesn't help him at all, because if you look at teams like Carlin, they can pull data across 5 cars, and Lucas is kind of working on his own here, so he's doing a really good job to be 8th on his own in a single car squad. Yeah,
can't disagree with that. I think the same can be said, correct me if I'm wrong, I think for these guys here, possibly at H2 for Fortec, because they've only got 1 car this weekend, if I'm correct. They were supposed to have 2, if I'm correct, with Manuel Maldonado, but sadly he was unwell, so he couldn't compete this weekend. So it's only just him on his own. And
we've got Rui Andrade, who's overtaking Billy Munger. Billy Munger must be kind of on a cool-down lap at the moment. Rui's with DriveX School, which also has a Formula 4 car here in the garage. I'm not sure why, but they do. And they are a 1-car operation. But Rui's also very inexperienced as well at car racing, so he's done a massively good job to currently be only 1.8 seconds off pace. Seeing a slow motion replay of Tepe Nattori, currently our fastest driver, a Honda Junior at Carlin.
It's a great shot there, just went through the first chicane. You're watching the rear wing just oscillate as it came over the bumps of that first part of the chicane over the curbs. So this is the crucial part of qualifying then, 6.5 minutes to go. If anyone's going to go for a pole position or at least a top time to get themselves out of that sort of top 5 group, but also the second half of the top 10 to get themselves into the top 5, this is the time to do it. They've got, basically, it's pretty much 5th down to 10th, as you said, by about half a tenth or so. Then you've got a bit of a bridge of a gap of about a tenth to Liam Lawson in 4th, then another tenth to Marino Sato. Then kind of Nattori and Kierkegaard at the moment are kind of in their own sort of league of about 3/10 or so in many cases. So those are the ones that are kind of, at the moment, unless these guys can find that much more time in these final few laps, not completely safe, but they've got more of a cushion than other cars around them.
Yeah, this kind of correlates with what we've already seen at the circuit, because Tepe Nattori was rapid in these conditions in pre-season testing. Nikolai Kierkegaard, admittedly in kind of warmer temperatures than this, was the man to beat in free practice on Friday. Marino Sato has historically this season been the strongest person in qualifying as well. So it's very interesting to see that those 3 have broken away, and it's very close behind. what we can't see on timing screens is how much people have a toe here as well. I think it's estimated to be around 0.4 of a second per lap, on the main straight. I'm not sure what it is on the shorter straight to turn 10, but that can have a big impact on lap time as well when we've got 5 cars covered by less than 0.5 of a second.
And if they want any place for a toe, you want it down here on the pit straight because it is the longest run down towards turn 1 and 2. Caleb Williams is one of the first few cars to be this second part, if you like, of this qualifying session with these guys going out for their second proper runs. Caleb Williams is the first kind of to really set a proper lap time. He gets up to 5th fastest without a toe, I think, in there. So Caleb Williams, again, working on his own, Fortet Motorsport in many cases. He might have a little bit of help from Mel and some of the other people around in that crew. But 5th fastest for Caleb. Good stuff. He's a former front runner in Australian Formula 3, so he knows these cars pretty well in many cases. So no stranger to the Formula 3 category.
He's a champion in his home country, and obviously Australia has a new Formula 3-esque series now in S5000 with ex-Formula 1 star Rubens Barrichello racing in it this morning.
Yeah, I did see the footage of that. Those cars do look pretty spectacular. They sound pretty good as well. But, of course, instead of these Delaris chassis. But, of course, next year we'll see the brand new car coming in. Of course, the Delaris F320, which is in the pit lane in the paddock here this weekend as well.
And another Australian, Jack Doohan, has jumped up to 4th, and which shuffles down another Antipodean, which is the name for Australians and New Zealanders, Liam Lawson, who's now in 5th. And he won race 1 yesterday. His setup at Motor Park is slightly different to his teammates. They normally try and stay together. Well, it looks like someone's locked up there because Lucas Dunner was driving through a cloud of smoke. Wonder who the car ahead of him is.
I'll have to take a look and see. I'll have to look in the last couple of corners. We're just looking across to see who it is in front of him. The car that was in front, whether it's a car or a Motor Park car, whether or not it is, there was nobody actually in front of him too much, so whether it was just a bit of mist in the air, I'm not sure. But either way, Lucas Dunner goes across the line. He did the fastest first sector anyway. So great lap to put him second quickest. So good effort from Lucas Dunner. Again, solo driver to put himself on the front row of the grid at the moment provisionally with 3.5 minutes to go. Great run, great effort.
Yep, and in between doing Euroformula, Lucas does sports car racing. So he races LMP3 and he's done one race in LMP2, I think, at Silverstone as well, which is where we were racing 2 weeks ago. And he also does a bit of rallying with some help from some big name rally drivers, and he does it kind of to support his driving in this, and they're kind of a passion, but he basically said if it stops being beneficial to this, then I'll stop doing that. And his main aim is to kind of win the Monaco rally, win the 124 hours, and get to Formula 1 as well via winning races in Euroformula Open.
So effectively, in many cases, he's got a plan B if his route to kind of getting to the Monaco Grand Prix. He's going to try and get to Monaco one way or another, whether it's a single-seater or a rally car, he can get there.
And Linus Lundqvist has just gone fastest, but Nikolai Kjærgaard has just beaten by 0.4 of a second. That's massive. I don't think he actually had a toe on that lap either. So a hugely impressive time by the Dane at Carlin there.
So everyone's out on track, 2.5 minutes to go there. There is Linus Lundqvist up to second quickest now. Tepe Nattori third, Lucas Dunner in fourth. Cameron Dass has just done a personal best, moved up to 5th fastest. The American did the fastest first sector. He's doing the fastest middle sector on this lap so far. Tepe Nattori is also powering along. Nikolai Kjærgaard has gone faster again in sector 1. He's done the fastest first sector. Nattori's got the fastest middle sector, so there's purple sectors flashing up all over the place. And Cameron Dass also has the fastest speed trap. And
there's only one driver who isn't making any improvements at the moment, and that is Marino Sato, who's in 8th place. His current best is a 1 minute 37.7, 1.2 seconds off the pace. As we see Liam Lawson climb up to third, a 1 minute 37.062. Still 6/10 off Nikolai Kjærgaard, who's done a mega result, but Tepe Nattori beats that as well by 0.021 seconds. So Carlin has definitely found something today.
Lundqvist on a personal best lap at the moment. Kjærgaard does not go personal best. In fact, he's lost about 5 or 6 tenths in that second sector. So this won't be a pole position time for him yet, but everyone's trying to wind up for a good lap here. Personal best second sector we should mention for Billy Munger, 36.3 in the middle sector, 28.6 for him in the first sector, so he's not doing too bad. He might put himself into the top 10 with this effort.
So I think Lundqvist didn't do a cool-down lap that time round, but he's only going to have one chance to do another lap, as we see another improvement. Billy Munger up to third place, a 1 minute 36.8. He's also only got one more chance to go faster right now, because we've only got 55 seconds left of this qualifying session.
It was a personal best middle and final sector for Munger, as we now see Tepe Nattori, not only fastest time, but again, fastest in the first sector so far. Liam Lawson's also gone that fast as well. He's going for a middle sector as well.
Christian Hahn shuffled Billy Munger down to 4th. His Carlin teammate went up to 3rd. Marino Sato's finally made an improvement. He's gone to 5th place. His final sector was pretty rapid, but his first two weren't anything special. Be interesting to see what he sets this time round.
Liam Lawson is up by 0.04 of a second with the fastest middle sector. Mocking yesterday's race winner from New Zealand, doing the final couple of corners. Nice and stable for the Motor Park car. Little twitch of oversteer on the exit, but it's more than enough through New Holland. Is it going to be provisional pole with 15 seconds to go for Liam Lawson? Cross the line goes the New Zealander. Is it provisional pole? No, it's down to fifth. We lost 0.4 in the final sector. That was a bit of a messy final sector for him.
But the Michelin tyres should have enough in them to be able to set another attempt. So checkered flag has just been waved. No one has met it yet, although we've just had Callum Williams, who was up in fifth about a minute and a half ago, and he's now down in 14th, 1.2 seconds off.
That just shows how much the pace has really much stepped up a notch in that last bit of the session.
And our provisional poleman, Tape Notori, hasn't even attempted to beat his best lap. He's just gone into the pits.
And Kiergaard, at the moment in the middle sector, is only 0.02 of a second off the best time. So this is it. This is for Kiergaard then. This is all crucial. This final sector needs to be effectively perfect. Out of the chicane through New Holland for the last time. Is Kiergaard going to put himself on provisional pole? He was on the front row yesterday. Can he go one better with pole here this morning for race number 2? And the answer is no, he can't. He misses out by 63 1/1000 of a second on that lap. He's 21 thousandths off in the actual qualifying result.
Christian Hahn's going into the pit, so he's not going to make an improvement either. Got Niklas Krutton crossing the line now. Another not to make an improvement. So we've only got Lawson, Sato, Sonoda, Dunner and Cohen on track at the moment. Sato crosses the line. Another not to make an improvement. 6th place at the moment.
Well, Liam Lawson is trying to be on a better lap at this point in time. He's got one final effort as he got across the line. Sonoda is about 0.2 off in the first sector already and about another 10th off in sector 2. And he's in the pit lane anyway, as is
Ido Cohen.
So Lucas Dunner is in as well. So it looks to me as if Tape Notori has pretty much realised that is pole position for him.
And that's a top 4. All the places are taken by Carlin there. Brilliant result for the team.
Yeah, the only car which wasn't up there was Ido Cohen. But there is, effectively, your provisional pole sitter, Tape Notori, with a great lap. 136.437 puts him on pole position. And Nikolai Kiergaard will again start on the front row in second place, again next to one of his teammates. So out of the final chicane. And Tepe now, of course, given congratulations from all of his Carling squad. And we'll hear from him shortly with Alfredo in the pit lane. Given the Spanish call of Vamos, let's go. Great stuff from Tepe Notori. And there's the final classification. It is almost a complete Carlin lockout. 1, 2, 3, 4 in qualifying. Notori from Kiergaard from Hahn and Munger. Then it's Liam Lawson, yesterday's winner, in 5th position. Marino Sato, the new champion, in 6th. Lars Lundqvist in 7th. Yuki Sonoda 8th. Lucas Dunner 9th. And Nicholas Krutton rounds out the top 10. Keradas is 11th. And then it's Duan, Cohen, Williams and Andrade. And here is Alfredo with our pole sitter, Tepe Notori.
Tape Notori, pole position ahead of race 2. Well done. How it was? You made a perfect lap.
Yeah, qualifying is one new set tire and 2 new set tires, very perfect attack lap. But I had many frustration because yesterday I can't qualifying because so heavy rain. Because I had I'm starting is race 1 is P11 because I had many frustration, but this qualifying is all frustrations done.
And this afternoon, you think you can take the race?
Yeah, but P1 is but just qualifying. Very important next race 2. I focus driving.
All the best. Well done. Thank you.
So very happy Tepe Notori takes provisional pole position ahead of race 2 this afternoon here for the Euroformula Open Championship. Join us then later on this afternoon where we'll see if it can be a Carlin victory, if Kiergaard can get the winning wicks missed out on yesterday, if Liam Lawson can make it 2 in a row, or even if the new champion or anyone else can hit the top step. From myself, Scott Woodwis, Elliot Wood, and all of us here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on later on this afternoon for race 2 of Euroformula Open from Spain. Bye for now.